Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. It's that time of the week where I go over my one sentence headliners for each NFL game this past week. So let's get started with the Thursday night football game between Minnesota and the Rams. The master is still showing the student new tricks. Sean McVay was showing his former assistant Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Vikings, how it's done on offense. The Rams, with both Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua back, look like completely different offenses. One that can even climb out of the early hole that they're in to potentially sneak into the playoffs as long as they're playing good defense. And as of right now, they're playing pretty decent defense, which was not the case early on in the season. Sunday, you got the Jets versus the Patriots. Missing Salah. When the offense had issues under Salah, or while the offense had issues under Salah, the defense usually never had its issues. Since Salah has been fired, the defense has regressed, and it can't be solely blamed on some injuries in the secondary. Kind of like last year when Rodgers got injured, and despite the win, everyone said the season was essentially over. Well, the same can be said here. Once Salah got fired, the season was over. No offense to the interim head coach, but he's not a head coach. Eagles versus Bengals. The Eagles soar through the jungle. I I know Philly's offense will score against a bad Cincy defense, but I thought the Bengals would be able to outscore them. And then it became a little bit tricky once it was announced that T. Higgins would be out the game. But basically, the Bengals just had two costly turnovers that changed the whole momentum of the game. And Cincinnati's not the type of team this year where they can't overcome multiple turnovers in the game. Um, Green Bay versus Jacksonville. When there is a will, there is a way. When Jordan Love left the game, Willie didn't panic, just like last time. He came and managed the game and was able to get the team to field goal range to win the game. It's important for the Packers just to keep up with the Lions in that division race. Tennessee versus Detroit. Lions dominated phase three. So phase one is the offense, which they dominated. Phase two was the defense, which they dominated in this particular game. And then phase three is special teams, which a lot of people forget about, but they dominated special teams with multiple, punt or kickoff returns. And it looked like the Titans just didn't know how to play special teams at all. Not Lions, I mean Titans. Falcons versus Buccaneers. Do you like that, Tampa? Kirk Cousins had 4 touchdowns last time these two teams faced, and then he had another 4 touchdowns in this game. This result indicated that in the next few years, this division may be owned by Kirk Cousins as long as he continues to play well. Cardinals versus Dolphins. Tua's return ruined by a better quarterback. When you look at the raw talent of both quarterbacks in Kyler Murray and Kyler is better. And when this turns into a shootout, Kyler was able to lead his team to a victory here. Even though Tua's back, and that's good for him and good for the Dolphins, it might be a little too late for Miami to make a playoff run at this point. Baltimore versus Cleveland. Back to eating W's. Jameis Winston, starting now with Deshaun Watson being out for a year, he took over and he led them on a crucial game-winning drive to win the game and had no turnovers, which is a very good thing for a guy like Jameis Winston. It's amazing how everyone but Deshaun usually has success in this offense for Kevin Stefanski. We'll see if the Browns, this is just a one-off thing, or if they can actually remain interesting going forward. The Colts versus the Texans. Anthony Richardson is no Ant-Man. When Richardson was drafted, a lot of people like this athleticism and raw talent, but as I cautioned, in his limited starts in college and even back in high school, he was an inaccurate passer, could barely complete half his passes, both college and high school. It's like, and you got to be more consistent than that in order to get the job at an NFL level. If the Colts want to continue on with this experiment, fine. But if they want to actually try to sneak into the playoffs, then they need to go Joe Flacco. The Saints versus Chargers. Would you be a lad and give me some touchdowns? Rookie Ladd McConkey gave Justin Herbert some help in the passing game with 111 yards and 2 touchdowns, and to get the Chargers back on track. Buffalo versus Seattle. 12th man, no more. Seahawks are known for a long time that they have that 12th man, a good home crowd, and it's just hard to play in Seattle, especially when Seattle's good or at least decent. But this season, they beat Bo Nix in his first start ever, and then they beat Tim Boyle. But other than that, they haven't beaten any good teams at home. And if they can't defend their home field against the good teams, it's going to be hard for them to sneak into the playoffs. Chicago versus Washington. Commanders still have the magic. Daniels ended up playing in this game, and he needed a Hail Mary for the win, and he was able to provide that due to some bad defense of Chicago. But now the Commanders get to remain first in their division. Carolina versus Denver. Bryce still looks young. As I expected, reinserting Young into the starting lineup was not going to solve everything for the Panthers, and sure enough, that's how it played out. Kansas City versus Las Vegas. Mahomes still can't produce. I mean, Mahomes can still produce. Lots of people say Mahomes is playing bad. He has more interception touchdowns and all that. But in this game, it's like he had no run help. The defense was fine, but didn't force any turnovers or anything. So Mahomes still needed to do some stuff in order to get the win. And he threw for 2 touchdowns and had over 250 yards. So it shows that Mahomes still has it. Cowboys versus 49ers. Cowboys can't find the gold. Once again, in the last now 4 times in a row that these teams have met, Dak has struggled against them. The only reason this game was even close in the end was because of busted coverages for the 49ers, defenders running into each other, stuff like that. But if the Cowboys didn't have 2 turnovers by Dak Prescott throwing interceptions, then he could have won this game. But now they go on a tough 4-game stretch before Thanksgiving, and that could extend their losing streak. And then last night's Monday football game between the Giants and Steelers. Danny Dimes fumbles the game away. The Giants were surprised and just down 1 score with 4 minutes left, and Giants recovered a fumble with around 4 minutes left to make things interesting. But then Danny Dimes, had a fumble, and then when they did get the ball back again, had an interception to seal the deal. And that's the story of the Giants this season. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel to learn about me. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.